It already goes back in one way.
Right.
I tried it. Wouldn't go one way.
I know, it's just, of how it was relayed to me is that it wasn't understood at all. And
But it's not clear over the state.
of having multiple people talk, it confused me is what it did, and it frustrates me. But yeah, it's frustrating. Right. Well, and that's where I owned up to mine. I shall do better. I'm not the best at all of this, so. I think I can get as PDF.
So down here,
Hi there. Yeah, that or let me do some digging, see if I can pull something up on PDF that I can just print out really quick. Save you the having to open it up.
It's 6:05, it's time to start the question and answer session. That would be awesome. Do we have any questions? Or if I can
So at least I can get in there and stuff. I have to work on both of them now.
I don't know.
I got one thing. Commissioner Sewell, that last rain we had, I noticed the doctor across from me actually flooded over that dog. Are you opening the valve prior to forecasted heavy rains? Just as a backup system, how long we're going?
Okay. At the time, I contacted Fulton County Office of Emergency Management because we don't have anyone right now in Sharp County.
Okay.
Because we were in a saturated situation, I was advised not to open the valve at that time because we were, like I said, we were in a saturated ground situation, and Fulton OEM suggested that nothing be done unless we had an emergency situation.
Okay.
It was determined that we had an emergency situation because a resident called and stated that water was coming up in her yard. And so the valve was opened without my knowledge and left open for 36 hours approximately.
Let me explain this. First of
Yeah,
all,
I was just curious because, like I said, I usually, I got one of those sticks across the way that's hard to really tell from my house. So I go by like the docks behind me, and I knew it was getting high.
It was, everybody got high. My lake came up 27 feet into my yard. Everybody was high, everybody was flooded. People who never had water in their yards before had water in their yards. It was a flash flood situation, and that's beyond our scope, really. I do keep track of what the upcoming weather is. There are regulations for when that should happen, but if we're already in a saturated situation, that was suggested that we do not add to anything downstream of us for our convenience.
I kind of disagree about that because I know in the previous years when there's been a rainstorm coming or something, the valve was open
Like,
before the rainstorm came.
and usually by this time the lake's already down.
Exactly.
which is the reason for it.
Because this is the time for flooding and extra rain.
I was just wondering if
And I'm the
there
one
was
that-
kind of a
I'm the one that made the
unwritten
decision to
rule
open
or
the
something
valve.
open, and when you do expect heavy rains, just like
There are guidelines for that. Again, the reason that those guidelines weren't followed to open prior was because we were already dealing with saturated ground because of
I didn't know
the
that.
ice and we had gotten the rain, and then we had gotten some ice, and then we had gotten some sleet, and everything was saturated. And it was suggested that that not happen.
Not saving the
But I
people.
do try very hard to keep track of upcoming weather events. Speaking of
Oh, I
which,
know, you've been awesome on the way.
tomorrow is a high wind advisory for everyone.
Yes, please
Okay,
don't
from
burn.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please no burning. Please make sure that your small toddlers and your trampolines or your garbage cans or whatever are secure, because tomorrow is going to be 45 to 50 mile an hour gusts most of the day.
It's a good day for a kite though at the airport.
There you go.
Do we have any other questions?
It's not so much questions, but I'm gonna be changing up a little bit of how we do the minutes. And so during this time, I need people to say your name and your concern, so I can write it down and then it's on the minutes. I don't know why the minutes have changed from when I got it to, I found some old ones that was part of whatever you had emailed to us that they added more in, so it'll help me out a little bit because I don't know everyone and I'm really bad at names. I will remember your face, but I will not remember your name. It's a work in progress. And it was brought to my attention, I don't know how much of holding it has, but our favorite person has decided that she is going to be taking it up a notch if the settlement is not signed by February. No,
I remember.
I do. Because we have to follow what we are under right now.
This isn't on the agenda, we're not going to discuss this now. Any other questions from the audience, from the property members? No? Okay, well, do you guys want to start the meeting now? Do I have, raise a hand who wants to start the meeting now? You want to wait until 6:30? Who wants to wait until 6:30 to start the meeting? Katie's the only one, so.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
Okay.
letting it be known.
Okay. We're going to start the meeting now at 6:10. Okay. We were going to have a time here for the property owners that filled out the nomination forms to speak and say what they could bring to the acres if they were appointed into the open seat. At this time, there is some questions that I'm researching that I just found out about today. So we're going to hold that off until possibly the next meeting. And then we'll go from there.
Do
So,
we have people who have filled out now?
yes,
How many?
2. So we're going to start with the opening prayer. Gary, would you like to give the say the prayer?
Dear Lord in heaven, we come to you today thankful for what we have, thankful for this community, thankful for the concern that we all have for the betterment of our environment around us. We come to you, Lord, we ask that you guide our hands and our eyes and our thoughts. Help us make the right decisions. Be with the ones that are in charge. Help them to handle business calm, Lord. In your name, amen.
Pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Commissioners present,
Kirby, Britt,
Lang?
Johnson. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. By what time?
That we adjourn the meeting at 8 o'clock.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All right,
We're doing all
All
in
in
favor?
favor?
all in favor, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong agenda. Okay. Old business. Vote on minutes for January 17th. I read those.
Skipped over the deputy report. Did we ever
We don't
receive-
have a deputy.
I
We're not
understand.
paying for a deputy anymore.
I understand that. I asked at the last meeting if we had gotten a deputy report from November and December where we were paying for the deputy. Did we?
That's in the office, if we have one. So you can ask Susan to look that up.
Okay.
Okay, so the minutes from January 17th. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as printed?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All approved? Okay, the update on the streetlights is we're keeping the remaining streetlights that are on, because it's really dark out here in Acres. And I know there's a couple more that really need to be turned on, like the one at the corner of your house, Brett. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing, but it really needs to be turned on, because when I go up there and go home, I can't see where I'm going, but we're gonna leave that
How about
one.
putting reflective?
Huh?
How about putting reflective?
We might check into that.
Did we have any residents that
We had a couple of residents that took over
took over their costs?
Okay, and Susie's raised, I want to table that until after the lawsuit is settled, or after the budget is settled. I'm sorry, the budget. So after we have the budget, then we will discuss that. I don't know what the bucket for the tractor update was.
Jean talked about buying a bucket for the tractor if the backhoe doesn't.
We're not going to do that, I don't think. Unless you guys have a different opinion of that. The backhoe is fine.
Just going by what old business was on,
Okay,
that we hadn't
I
talked
think
about.
I talked to her about that before and said that it wasn't.
You don't have a tractor for it.
Right.
You have to buy a whole setup, you can't buy this.
So, okay, commissioner bylaws. Do we have anyone that wants to make changes to the bylaws?
Our bylaws are completely outdated and inaccurate. So I thought that when we had talked about this, I had requested a copy of the 1492, that it says the statute that we are supposed to be, that we're supposed to be following, that we fall under. The municipal league, the information that they provide is all for municipalities and cities, so that's very confusing in my opinion. So our 1492 is what the SID government setup and procedures falls under, but we've never, I've asked for that to be provided. What parts of it?
This is
That's right, that's one section of it, and that's a section for an election when we want to replace all 5 commissioners at one time. There are 304, I think, chapters to 1492. So my question had been, if we could look at what 1492, which chapters actually pertain to us before we do bylaws, so that we know what chapters of that statute actually cover us or that we fall under, rather than other chapters that don't pertain to us. But we don't have any of those, and I don't have a copy of, I didn't bring a copy of the bylaws with me. I did find that these procedural rules for municipal officials is a condensed, proposed version of Robert's rules that the municipal guide or municipal league does recommend. So our bylaws state that we, right, I understand that, because we're going to be discussing it today. So our bylaws state that we are, our meetings are to be held under parliamentary order, but no one was able to tell me what parliamentary order, what am I supposed to know and understand to participate in our meetings properly. I was told Robert's Rules of Order. I came to a meeting and gave each commissioner a copy of those and said, could someone please explain to me which parts of this we do and which parts of this we don't do. I have gotten no feedback for it. So here's another opportunity or an option that we could use if we are going to change our bylaws up at all. And I provided each of you a copy of that in your...
Okay, well, see, here's the other thing about the bylaws that I've been thinking about, and there's no sense in us updating the bylaws at this time until the lawsuit is settled and we have commissioners that are voted in, and not just two voted in and two that are three that are just nominated.
We can't wait until
So-
November to do the bylaws.
Well, we're going to have to.
I don't think we can. You'd have to reread the settlement. I think we have to do it within a certain time period.
After I don't think it says, I'm not sure what it says about the bylaws, I'll have to review that, but we're going to table this for now. Okay, commissioners' responsibilities and duties.
Well, I guess you'd have to say the same thing about that as you would about the bylaws.
Well, you were given a packet with the stuff for the,
I was given a packet. And I was given a packet that says I'm supposed to hire a beach guard. When I said, am I supposed to hire a beach guard, I was told, no, that's the office's responsibility.
no, nobody ever said that. That's never been the office's responsibility.
Actually, it says right on your list of what your responsibilities are as the office is to hire all employees. All employees. That's what it says.
Well, we've never.
So it's the packet that we were given, there is a lot of overlap. There's a ton of missed things that no one is responsible for. No one's responsible for any ditches or any drainage or any, that's not listed anywhere. That's not listed in maintenance, it's not listed in lakes, it's not listed on parks, it's not listed anywhere. So there's a lot of, like I said, overlap, and there's a lot of things that have been completely missed, and it's very, very confusing. And if you're saying that we shouldn't do bylaws before we have commissioners, how can we assign responsibilities to commissioners before we have commissioners, especially when two of us have just been assigned and not elected?
I think as far as hiring a beach guard, if you're over at the beach, you're the one that talks to them and you choose who you think should be.
But I was over the beach, and when I wasn't informed in any way, shape, or form that that person had stopped working there or was not working there any longer, or
When did you come into,
August.
when did we close the beach? September?
September.
Yeah. So, I don't know why we stopped, really. You know, I know we did have a beach guard down there at one point, and he didn't work all the time, he just worked on, I think, Saturdays and Sundays. I could be wrong though.
I believe that's right when you.
I don't remember when he quit.
I don't either, but like if when you're over something, you need to check on it every so often and maybe you go down there to see nobody was there. That might be a problem too.
I'm gonna tell you, I didn't go down there because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. Remember, I didn't come to the office and go, hey, can I please do this job? So I asked for direction. The directions I were given were confusing and overlapping and missing information and are still that way. So I can't understand how we could possibly do we're going to table bylaws, but we're going to assign responsibilities to commissioners at the same time.
Well, I'm not assigning any jobs right now.
Okay, but that's what we're discussing right now. And so my input is
I didn't put that on the agenda.
But it's on the agenda, so that's
Well, Katie put it on the agenda.
Okay, Chris Ellen,
so
were you
I
not
don't know.
given the sheet that has your responsibilities?
I was, Lana, and I have 3 different copies, and they say 3 different things, and like I said, they overlap the responsibilities of different people. At the time when I first became a commissioner, I was also the security commissioner. Okay, I had security, lakes, parks, beach. Okay, all of those are every list that is written is very confusing, it's very overlapping, and there's information that's missing. So I think that those responsibilities need to be changed, but I don't think we can change them without changing our bylaws that the commissioners are required to follow at the same time.
I think you guys can put in an updated version of your job, what you feel your job responsibilities are again, and we can look them over and see how we can change the job duties.
Okay, so you're saying that if we are going to look at changing the commissioner's responsibilities, we should determine what we would like to be doing, or
No,
what
that's
we
not what I'm
feel.
saying.
Okay, I'm asking for clarification.
You're saying that you want things, the things aren't on there that should be. Well, we tell them things shouldn't be on there, and it should be.
Okay, I've done that. I mean, I have all that information written down on all those copies. I didn't bring those tonight because we wouldn't have been here till 11 o'clock.
Okay, we'll make copies of them, or bring them to the office so we can make copies for everybody.
Awesome.
Okay? But right now, I'm not feeling comfortable to do the bylaws, so we're waiting on that.
All right, so I will make copies with my notes on everyone's list of job responsibilities and provide that to the other commissioners for you guys to review them, and perhaps we can look at that in the next meeting.
Yes.
Great.
And the selling of the fire department, the SID and fire department vehicles, we are holding off until I can get them, get somebody to tell me what the value of it is.
Do we have a list of the vehicles that we were
Yes.
that we requested? Can you make those available to the other commissioners?
Yes.
Thank you.
You want just the ones that we're thinking
No,
about selling, or all of them?
No, all of them, please.
Okay. All right. Okay, new business.
And before we go forward, I want to make a motion to amend the agenda.
It's too late to amend it now.
But you amended it last week to talk about,
At the beginning of the meeting.
no, it was during the meeting.
I don't know.
I'll pull up the video. It was during the meeting.
Okay, well, what do you want to amend it?
I would like to discuss that we need to reach out to Lions to figure out what procedure we take right now, because the lawsuit is
I've
so
already
long.
done that. I just called his office today.
So can we discuss it?
He's on vacation right now, so he hasn't replied back to me. Go ahead, Lana.
I made a copy of some of the Robert's rules, and I put for her what the agenda sample is.
just saying, I'm going by what Marcia did last meeting. She amended it during the meeting.
I don't remember.
Because I'm sorry, we have to take that, what was put down, a little seriously. Because if the settlement is not signed by next month,
We should be holding a nomination meeting
in
this month.
7 days.
I have that question out to Mr. Lyons. As
Can you,
soon as
can
he
you make sure that
answers, I
it's
will
put a
let you
little,
know.
can you make sure that it's put a little bit of pep on the step to get a hold of, I know he's on
Yes, I
vacation,
gave
but.
him, as a matter of fact, I also gave him my cell phone number, and so the office isn't open, he can contact me on my cell phone.
Did you leave a voicemail?
No, I left a message with the secretary.
What was it, that's what she's asking?
Well,
What
that's
did you say to the secretary?
Well, I left a message for him.
I'm just saying it's
And-
of a
and-
matter of importance.
Well, no, I understand that.
Okay.
We all do.
Not all of us do. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right, well, let's not have such snarky comments.
I'm dishing out what I'm receiving.
Okay. Commissioners should be able to work together. If we can't work together, then we have to find somebody else to do
Don't
this.
say.
Okay, discuss usage of Robert's rules. Whose was that?
I think we are, you jumped.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So,
I got
the
distracted.
selling SID and fire department vehicles have been tabled again. We've requested a list of available vehicles that SID owns so that we can look at those and review them prior to our next
Okay.
decision on that, right? So then new business.
Okay, new business is allowing people to set up on business on SID properties.
Okay, so I've actually done quite a bit of research into SID properties, and just so everybody knows, SID isn't just this board, okay? The SID actually stands for a Suburban Improvement District. Suburban, meaning we are not a municipality or a city. We are governed by a board of commissioners that are elected from our community. Improvement stands for the actual physical area that is made up of our improvements, our lakes, our parks, our clubhouse, our marina, our drainage easements, etc. An SID is actually a physical property, okay, in addition to being governed by an SID board. But so many times people say, I want the SID to dissolve. Okay, well, if the SID dissolves, that's not us dissolving. Okay, that's part of it. What's dissolving is everything that makes up this community. Our lakes dissolve, our parks dissolve, our clubhouse, this is gone. Okay? When the SID is gone, this no longer belongs to you. Okay? So, and the district part of it is the residents in the area that are assessed fees to protect and improve and maintain those SID properties, all right? Because the SID properties are not in any subdivision or any bill of assurance, they are not held by those rules. So businesses can conduct business on SID-owned property as approved by the SID board or the residents, okay? Now, I'm not talking about businesses like a Dollar General or, anything like that.
Liquor store.
Liquor store. Okay. I'm talking about people who want to sell firewood, people who want to sell eggs if they happen to have chickens, people who, food trucks come in and park in a park, one of our parks, and, provide food for our residents. Those are the kind of businesses that I would like to see trying to invite to come into Ozark Acres. I think the worst thing we can do right now is to maintain this closed, encapsulated community. All right, I feel like we really do need to reach out to surrounding neighborhoods, surrounding government surrounding people and see how we can network to keep our community going forward, all right? And I think one of the best ways to do that is to invite people from outside of our community to come into our community to provide a service for our residents. If there are people in our community that would like to provide those services that happen to run a business, awesome sauce, that's even better, okay? But that's the idea behind bringing businesses into city-owned properties. And it is 100% legal. It is not against any BOA or rule or regulation or ordinance. Okay, so that is what I've been able to find out. I did reach out on Facebook to several different online sales sites and asked just for people who owned food trucks in the area if they could please reach out to me if they would be interested in coming into the acres. I was promptly called a communist and told to stop posting that communist SHI. So that's the kind of feedback I'm getting from the residents about that idea. If there's anybody here that's got any kind of ideas, if you think it's a bad idea, if you think it's a good idea. I mean, we already have businesses in the acres, we all know it, all right? We've allowed it, it's happened, so I don't understand what the hesitation is to allow it to continue to happen or make it better. Right.
I got one question. In municipalities that do have businesses in them, they zone them commercially, they pay extra taxes to have those businesses.
Correct.
Now, when are you gonna?
We can't do that as an SID.
Okay, what about?
We can do that going forward if we can get people that are coming into the acres right now as an SID and are successful and choose to make this a permanent place to do business. As we go forward and become whatever we become, those people are then brought in and here, now you can pay us a business license fee, now you can pay, okay.
Okay, that's what I was kind of getting at. You're
So, yeah.
inviting people from outside to come in and retail inside the community. Are they being charged anything for that privilege?
I don't know yet. I don't have enough feedback on if people are even willing to do it. At the beginning, I would probably say no. At the beginning, I would probably say, let's just try this and see if people are interested. See if food trucks do want to do a food truck Friday. And every Friday, there would be a different food truck parked somewhere in the acres. Okay, and then if they make money off of it and our residents like eating that food and supporting them, then we can offer them a place. You know, then we can say, hey, this park or this spot, you can have this spot and you can do your truck whatever day of the week you want to. It's your responsibility to advertise, and they're self-contained, it doesn't cost us any money, and we could charge them a monthly fee for that thing. So yeah, right. Just right now, I think to get it started, we do it more as a community outreach than try to
I
get
have
money.
nothing against businesses coming in myself either, I think it's a good idea.
Della?
And 9 months ago, we were talking about the campsite. So we were trying to get the water turned on just to test the septic. In the 9 months, have there been any kind of anything? Have they figured out where the valve to turn it on is?
I'm not positive, I'll check with
Had Tom, have you?
Have you guys figured out where that valve is? That shut-off valve?
In 9 months?
It's been determined to start off with a brand new connection that'll be down by Acres Road. So if you want a water meter, you have to have a new water meter installed down by Acres Road. We'll need to know the size of the meter based on what volume of water you want to have based on the number of campsites.
And how much?
So the system's been abandoned for 40 years, so
How much does the water meter cost?
yes, they do. You'll respond pretty much a new line from that meter to a campsite.
So Della, I'm sorry.
And, I know exactly where the valve is, if you really want to know, I can tell them exactly what the valve is. We know where it is, and all that other mumbo jumbo issues. But all you want to know is, We wanted to test the septic, just turn on the valve. Is that hard?
What's that?
She
To
can't
turn on the
hear you.
valve. To turn on the valve. And we know where the valve is. We just need to turn it
Well,
on.
from talking to people, the valve is buried probably somewhere underneath the
I know
asphalt
exactly where the
on
valve
April's
is.
Road.
No, it's not. I know exactly where it is.
Okay, you wanna
I mean,
have,
But we can show you if you would like, you know.
Oh, I've seen the maps.
That
They're
would
very
be,
big.
Well, good.
Okay.
okay, so that's something that's like a water department thing and not,
Well, the reason why I'm saying is because I was for a business in SID, that would give SID.
it would be a great location. I actually have had a gentleman who would like to purchase that piece of property.
Yeah.
Has shown great interest, has gone out, has looked, would be interested in it, and unfortunately, because of our horrible contract with American Land Company, we don't have the ability to pull that piece of property and sell it, and for the SID to make any money off of it. So, the SID, anything that the SID owns, the SID cannot sell anything, any piece of property. They cannot sell anything. We are not allowed to sell any piece of property. We have to go through a real estate agent. We are locked into a real estate agent, which is American Land Company. So if we did sell the property,
But why sell if we can make money off it?
well, that's what I was saying. I was hoping that we could make money off of it.
Yeah.
But if we try to sell it
Because
to
we
make
know
money,
dollars we could be blocked.
we would receive 5% of the sales prices, and American Land would receive 95% of the sales price. So it's just kind of a catch-22 that we're,
Tom, when, if Della can show you where that valve is, will you go with her to see where it's at? Or have Colin go with her to see where it's at?
We've been out there, I went out there, looked at it, and all, and we couldn't.
Okay, well, she said she knows where it's at. Could you
You know where
possibly
it's
go
at?
out there with her?
Glad to see it.
Okay, so that's,
I have it.
go ahead, Mama.
Okay, by the bills of assurance, and every one of them has it on there, under the subdivision restrictions, all lots shown on said plats are to be used only for residential purposes.
that's just what I explained, is the SID properties are not lots. There is no lot number or parcel number associated.
There are a lot of
I would like you to provide me with that information, because when I went into the city clerk's office and asked for plat maps, the property that this building sits on does not have a parcel number, okay? It is a SID-owned property, which is not included in a bill of assurance. It is not in an addition.
But it does have a parcel number.
It's not, okay, so it has a parcel number, maybe I'm incorrect on that. I am not incorrect on, it's
It does
not,
have a parcel, but it doesn't
Doesn't have
have
a lot number, it says on there Ozark Acres Park.
thank you. So, it has a parcel number, but it doesn't have a lot number, which means that it doesn't belong to a subdivision or to a addition within the SID. So it does not fall under any BOA.
Okay.
I mean, we
No,
can,
I was just commenting that they do have lot numbers.
okay, so, I mean, I've asked a lot, I've looked into this as deeply as I possibly can, without costing us any money. And they are a separate entity. And even all of the little drainage ditches and like the little pocket parks that we have that are like little pieces of landlocked property, those are SID-owned properties. Again, they don't fall into any BOA, so
And also,
they all kind of are
I don't think you are correct about us not being able to sell them anymore. The acres owned by the campground. Tom, am I not correct that we could sell the campground since it's SID property?
Yeah, they can sell the property.
Because it's an asset.
American Land Company only has control on properties that's been foreclosed on.
So, okay, hold on, so you just said American Land only has property that has been foreclosed on.
Right.
How are they selling 12, 15, 20 lots a week right now? They're doing a huge fire sale. People are buying multiple lots.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
those haven't all been foreclosed on.
I mean, when it comes to contract, you're saying the city can sell their own property without dealing with American Land Company.
Right, I do believe that's true.
Yeah, because
But
all city property was not part of that contract.
Right, that's what
The
I'm
only
saying.
properties that was foreclosed
So, like,
on,
if we-
they foreclosed.
Okay, so just if we wanted to sell like what the water department sits, or the old water department's building sits on, like not saying that we're going to, but you know,
Okay, I have a paper in my file.
Please.
that would be nice.
Okay, I swear when I came into the office and asked.
You never asked me about this.
I did, I told the gentleman. All right, so, and bottom line, if anybody knows anyone that would be interested in doing a small business in Ozark Acres, if anybody knows anybody outside of Ozark Acres that would be interested in a potential business possibility in Ozark Acres, I would love to get that feedback. We'd love to see if we could get something started with that.
I think the farmer's market thing is a good idea.
Farmers
Trying to
market?
go with some people that can set up on a weekend or something like that. If we, you know, up there in where by the new water department, by the firehouse, that little stretch of flat land there, plenty of parking, and be a good spot for a farmer's market.
We have a contact within, because I guess to do some certain farmers markets, you have to be licensed with the state, and one of the residents here has a contact that wouldn't mind
Right.
taking that part of it, of the umbrella over us, so that's
The
helpful.
regulations and whatnot, is that what you're saying?
Pretty much,
Yeah, okay.
I don't know exactly what it all entails, but you know, because I looked a little bit into farmers markets, but it's a little bit depending on how far you go down the health department and getting certified and the cottage laws, that's a lot to learn.
So,
Yeah, it is.
Jen, if you
Yes.
like the idea of a farmer's market, would you like to do some more research on it for us?
Yeah, I can get a hold of, I know Lauren knows a lot about it, because she kind of helped out with that stuff, so I can get in touch with her. And Lloyd Lindley, he does his little thing up there when he had the
Right.
building, he did stuff out there, so he may know some stuff too.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
All right, Robert's Rules of Order. Is it you, Lana?
That was me, actually. I mean, are we following it to the T, or, I mean, are we picking and choosing what we follow? Like, I'm new to all this, so I want to do it
I
right,
mean,
you
you
know?
can do it by the letter if you guys want to, I mean, it's,
I'm trying to figure,
not a small war.
Right, and I think one of the things that thing that I printed off for you guys that said the, you know, whatever I just gave you, from the Municipal League, that is actually their recommendation for smaller boards and smaller towns and municipalities. Yeah, it's kind of like a condensed kind of idea for smaller
boards that don't, okay.
Right.
So
So we'll be
those-
doing that.
Right, so
Yeah.
these are, that's this, procedural rules for municipal officials, and
Okay.
printed off for you guys.
And then Lana-
And then Lana printed off the Roberts rules, so I think if we review the two of those before our next meeting, that can help us
Yeah.
come to
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Discuss audit update. I spoke to John Hallstrom. He is in the Philippines right now. He won't be back until March 10th. So, we're going to, he's gonna call me and we're gonna, when he gets back, and we're gonna set up a time to do the, audit, and we're gonna set up a time to meet for the budget. So that's where
So
that's
we'll
at.
probably get a good idea maybe by the April meeting that we can update.
Probably.
It just helps me plan.
Okay, and
And this one is me too. Has anyone reached out to the office to At the last meeting, we really wanted to hear from the residents and people volunteering for the different committees.
Has anybody volunteered at the office?
No.
Okay, well, we had somebody volunteer tonight for checking into a farmer's market, and we have had, okay, at the community summit meetings, we have had some people volunteer to do some things. We've had some people volunteer to work on on the clubhouse committee or because they're close, they could come unlock doors, check temperature, whatever.
Be my eyes on the ground, because it's hard to do it from over here and come over there. I love my community, but gas is expensive too.
We had someone suggest running a summer camp for the kids of the community. We've had someone discussing walking trails being updated or renovated or placed and getting put online to like an All Trails app where people that like to hike, you can tell them, this is a 2-mile round, 2-mile loop trail that you can come and use. It could bring people in, it could...
Geocaching.
Right, yeah, we could do, we had someone talking about geocaching, which is treasure hunting, basically, is the easiest way to do it. People go hide stuff and give you some clues, and you got to go out and find it and take photographs of it. It's a whole thing online that a lot of people get into it. My kids absolutely loved it when they were little. We've had some people volunteering to be lake scouts, just maintaining, keeping an eye on the different docks, animals that we have currently in the lake, etc. So we have had some volunteers. What I think is important to remember is, as we go forward, regardless of when this lawsuit all hits, it's going to hit. And at that point in time, we can't do anything. It's not up to us to figure out if we're going to go with Hardy, if we're going to go with the county, if we're going to go into a city. It's up to you guys.
And we
So
need residents.
you guys need to figure out what you're going to want going forward, because we cannot make those decisions. That's not us. So, in my personal opinion, you all need to come up with a community oversight committee as soon as humanly possible to kind of have some guidance as to what's going to happen going forward. Okay? Because it's, like I said, it's not our job to do that. We are not literally, legally allowed to be the ones to determine if we want to set up a meeting to talk to somebody in Hardy to see if they'd like to annex us. We can't do that. That is all going to be on you all. So, just might want to start thinking about reaching out to other people in the community and see if you guys can pull some things together.
And start telling people and I'm just putting it out because I know we have who we have here, but other people watch and everything. We need everyone to start saying you need to get involved. That's the only way that this is going to work, and it starts with helping us try and make us ready for our next step. If we don't have the help, it doesn't work.
So how many people have been coming to your meetings?
We didn't have as many this last time, probably because I didn't buy donuts.
Probably.
But the meetings that we have had have been really productive meetings. They've been very good exchange of ideas. And it's nothing that's being voted on. It's nothing that's being, set in stone. It's literally trying to brainstorm ideas of where do we go from here. So community summit meetings are going to be held usually on the second Saturday of every month. It wasn't on our agenda or on our calendar for this month. I'm not sure why. I did send in all the dates that we had set up, but it didn't get put on the calendar. It's generally 10 days before this SID meeting, which allows anybody who goes there some time in between being at the community summit meeting and talking about something and being able to come to this meeting and share it with the SID and the community through this venue. Okay?
Did you get a resend on that? Because I never got that.
Yes, I will definitely do that. Mhm.
All right, then we have
Committee reports.
financial report.
Marcia, I'm going to ask you, and I don't know if we need to vote on this or not. I have a really hard time understanding and sitting and looking at, I know you provide us with our bank account statement and a P&L statement. But for me, having to go back and look at this from last month to see what happened between this month and last month, I get really
Let me finish.
confused. So,
Okay,
is there a way,
Let me show you.
hold on,
Go
can
ahead.
I ask that we just be given expenses for the month and income for the month? Like, what actually happened with the money for the month, rather than trying to go back
This
through,
all tells you what happened.
but,
But you want it for just a month?
yes.
Okay. well,
Yes, because when I look
Okay,
at this and I
month.
see that we've got $10,000 in delinquent assessments and our budget was $4,600. Did we get $10,000 in? That's awesome. But do you know what I'm saying? Really,
You want it for just 1 month. I can do that for just 1 month. if that's what you want.
it doesn't even have to be this, it's just like, what did we really spend money on? How much was our electric bill this month?
Well, that-
Okay, that kind of,
Yeah,
just-
and it'll tell you on this.
okay. I find this very confusing.
Okay,
I
I'll
need
make,
to-
I'll make you guys one with just 1 month.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, can I ask why we stopped doing this
What?
with the reports? This was from one of the meetings.
From how long ago?
This is 2008.
Okay, well.
But that's my question. Why would we?
This is probably because this was all handwritten, handed on by typewriter, as you can see. Okay,
2008.
yes. Probably. That is,
I mean, but we should probably look at going to something similar to this. I mean, because this really helps us. I was looking at this, that it was broken down, that I could have sat and looked at this and figured out how much the clubhouse's electric and water was this month and everything, but for this, it's in utilities.
And it needs to be clear for everybody to be
Yeah.
able to read, not just y'all.
Exactly.
Because we have a right to know too.
This makes no sense to me. You know, it's Latin.
Katie?
So, sorry. I'm not meaning, I get loud when I get, it's just, it doesn't make sense.
it's not gonna happen right away, I'm gonna tell you that.
That's fine.
No, it's just
That's
confusing.
fine.
And then especially as we're going through all this other confusing stuff, it's confusing.
And it'll help, it might help.
Makes
When we
sense.
write a check, we're not writing separate checks for every thing. And when it goes into the computer, we list all of the electric bills and what they're for. Okay, whether it's the clubhouse, the maintenance department, the beach,
Okay, so
Well, but you guys
when you
see
say that,
where is it on here?
It's not, but what I'm saying is when it prints a check, it combines them all together.
Okay, that,
And that's the only time that it is recorded in the computer.
Okay, so my question is for, like, this was a clubhouse expense for 2002. We've got a March electric bill of $464.49 in this building. That's for this building for 1 month. We didn't have a single solitary rental that month. What? Are we keeping it at 90
That was
a year?
last year.
I understand it was last year. Because we didn't
No.
get on in March yet.
What could have happened is somebody left the thermostat on, or there was a problem with the furnace. And we didn't have a
So this is actually just for this building.
Yes.
$465 for 1 month, that no one was in it, no lights were on, were supposed to be on. The only time anybody was here was for an SID meeting, and we paid $465 for electric.
Then we have showers, and people have showers and parties.
No, nobody, there was no rentals
no
this
There's
month.
no rentals that month.
Okay, last night, he left the light on the weekend, down here in this back, the light was on in the kitchen.
Well, when we came in for the community summit meeting, the thermostats were all set at 68 degrees. It was very toasty in here. Do we leave our thermostats here at 68 degrees?
No,
hot.
they should be at 55.
I know it's hot.
They should be at 55.
55, okay, 55. All
That's
right,
what I used to say.
very good. I would much prefer to see that, thank you.
So if somebody rents them and it's not checked afterwards,
Right, which is why it would be really nice to have one of the volunteers who lives nearby, who said that she would be happy to come down here after anybody rents, make sure that the temperature's set correctly, make sure that, and it's not, doesn't have to be somebody from the office doing it, doesn't have to be somebody from the other side of the acres doing it.
It's right here.
And it's right here, right, handy dandy, gotcha, okay, thank
okay,
you.
let's get on to the financial.
Total water heater, right?
Huh?
Total water heater, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, financial report for February. The Acres General Account has $111,020.11. Money market account, $64,527.32. Volunteer interest fund, $500. Act 833 account balance, $10,214.87. Petty cash account for volunteer fire department, $8,334.13. Special business account, $18.86. That is down from transferring the money from the insurance to pay the cost of
The repairs from the store.
So that's why it's been low.
Is that all done now?
Pretty much,
Are they all
yeah.
done with,
Almost all.
what else is left?
I think they're going to do this front awning down here.
Okay.
Okay. Volunteer fire department's ARP funds is $5,007.21. And we're hoping to get radios. I kind of watched a video from the foreign court that was posted. And they were talking about their radios. So you might want to contact Kyle Vince with the fire department and see about getting, because they were going to combine them all so we could get a cheaper price.
Well, that might be helpful. Just
Well,
go
yeah.
in and then have everyone kind
Right.
of addition as
Exactly.
like a sliding scale.
So it'll make them cheaper.
That'll, yeah,
Anything basically.
right.
Okay.
It's then cheaper in the end too.
Okay. August report. Okay. The office is closed a couple days due to weather. Emails were addressed the days the office was closed. The monthly tasks. Jeanette organized and put away boxing up 2022 files. She organized the 2022 Act 833 files. Made new folders for 2023. Filed 2023 files. Cleaned and organized the office. Made spreadsheet to Katie Nix for tax rolls to be spent. She did the maintenance report, looked through Sharp County sticks and printed needs for the SID. Now, these are all things that, like the sticks, they take a long time because you have to go through each stick, you have to stick it in.
Yeah, that's so
the-
crazy that they just send you everything.
So it's like a lot of time is spent on that. And then you have to print the ones that are ours. So, and then she was in training with Susie for the payroll and the accounts payable, learned how to do P&L reports, and updated the list of property owners around the Lake Fairground.
Is that going to be made available?
Yes.
Awesome. I'd love to copy that as
So
a
we
link.
also need to get another concern like too.
As a link, push around the wall.
Well, that's right, you know, it came up and it needs to be updated. Okay, Susie returned phone calls and helping folks,
How do I spell it? Okay?
you spelled it right, I'm just saying pretty much in there.
It's a tough one.
She listened to the phone messages that come in, she checks the phone messages every morning. She goes through the emails and forwards, answers, or sends information there. Payroll training of Jeanette and accounts payable, and showing her how to sort the bills to file them and make copies of the checks and how many copies to make. Create a spreadsheet for the clubhouse expenses.
I need to jump in there. So this spreadsheet of the payroll or clubhouse expenses, it took 8 hours to pull this together. Why does it take 8 hours for us to be able to pull information
Because
on?
she had to pull each one of the electric bills separately out of the box and the water bills.
We don't have any way to track that when we make a payment in our QuickBooks or whatever.
It totals all of them, so I have to separate and know just Clubhouse.
So
So you
what-
have to go through all alphabet folders, checks, and you pull it open and look at the backup, so you can see the amount for just the Clubhouse. So you have to do that
Holy
because
cow.
the system puts in, even though we key in a line item for Clubhouse, the system totals it. Once we send it to print the check, it totals it at a grand total.
So can't
We need a
you
different
create
system.
Can't you create a spreadsheet and enter it in there as you're going?
Well, I have
You can do that, but then that takes more time because
Take
most of the
everybody
time,
else to do that.
we don't have to
8 hours
separate
a
stuff
day.
out. It's only because someone's asking. So we never have to separate the stuff out. The only thing we know is if it's fire department. Now we know what that total is because that has to be paid with a different check system. But when we use our general account paying, no, you know. I mean, we can sit there and make a new idea
But then how do we
of
have a-
writing
okay.
and listing out each.
We could probably
But
set,
then how do we
But it
have a
takes
P&L?
longer.
Okay, then how do we have a P&L that has a clubhouse section on here, okay, that has building maintenance, okay, that,
and that's how it's categorized.
so what I'm asking is, if the system is putting it all into one thing, maybe we need to change our system a bit.
Well, I can call QuickBooks and I'll talk to them about that.
Yeah, like you can go back and you can look at check items. There's a long list of checks. So you can look at each check and you have to enter it. I mean, you have to hit enter and then it displays the check and then it shows some specific details. And then you can write it out and make a list of them, you know.
Okay, so one of the reasons that we were having problems with the audit and the budget is because these line items were not consistent throughout all of our bookkeeping. So I
I
just,
will contact QuickBooks and see.
Oh, see,
if
they
can
might
separate it.
have a way that they
Okay.
can help you guys separate it.
right, because that seems silly that you can't do that, that you would have to physically go through files. That seems crazy old-fashioned to me. Okay.
Okay, she processed the owner's cards and blue gold stickers, and helps people with the counter and or telephone calls. And that is it. And the next one is Clubhouse.
Alrighty. I am still crunching numbers, but the prices are gonna have to change for the clubhouse for us to reasonably at least even out on our expenses for this. It's sitting right here, just last year, $4,100 to just run this building, and we brought $450 in.
But the utilities are included with the office stuff. And.
Okay, wait,
No, hold on.
That's like the street lights are included in the office.
hold on. You just said that this is for clubhouse expenses, and it says $4,116.07.
She wanted it broken down with the electric and the water.
So that's what she's
That's
saying.
what
She
yeah, for
just
this
said
building.
it
Right.
costs for this
Cost
building.
$4,116.07. We made $450 last year. We lost,
$3,500.
yeah. This,
And that's not including propane, that's not including,
well, now, I have to rework
okay.
of what it is, because I have the insurance on here from, earlier, but that doesn't, I mean, that's not including propane, of how much it costs us to put propane in here. But prices are gonna have to change, it'll have to, I'm trying to do it fair where it's on a sliding scale. It's, if you want it all day, you pay this much. If you want it for 8 hours, you pay this much. If you want it for 4 hours, you pay this much, you know. I hate to do it, but that's the only way we can not hemorrhage money from this. That's that with such a small budget that we have, that's a lot of money to lose.
Don't
Well, you
have
kinda have
very
to.
many people, there's hardly very many people that ever
That's why we have to
That's
start.
why we need to open it up to
We
the
need to
public
start opening it
outside.
up to the public.
So-
I mean,
raise the prices and the people probably won't rent it. So, I mean, if they're.
I've been reaching out to a lot of places around here to see if we are anywhere competitive. We're on the really low side to rent out. We are cheap.
That's because it's for the community here.
The
That's
community-
why.
the community's not supporting
community's
it
not
enough
supporting us.
to
There's,
make.
is the community that cares, right?
Yes,
That's not
thank you.
enough. That's not enough.
That's not $4,000 right now.
Exactly.
I
You know,
realize that.
But, I mean, we can, this is from when I moved here, revised 4/16/18. You can have a non-resident sponsored by a property owner. If one of us has a friend that lives out,
Right.
bring them in. But we also have to look into it of, right here, you charged them more.
Right.
So
because
then
they're
we take it the next step. If they do not have a connection to this community, we take it that next step up. Kind of like hunting. You go to an out-of-state, you pay big bucks to hunt.
I realize that.
You know?
There's other things to consider, and,
The other thing,
like
I mean,
insurance and who's gonna monitor them.
who comes and monitors now?
Stephanie
It's
Bell.
supposed to be you.
So when.
So when I rent it out, I'm supposed to be here for the
No.
whole event.
No, you're supposed to open, and you're supposed to check it, and then you're supposed to close and check it.
And okay.
And
So
you're
if
supposed
we
to
rent
check
it,
the-
so
you're
if we
supposed to
rent it
check
to
the
someone
all-
out, okay.
Yeah.
So if we rent it to someone outside the community, that will still be done with hopefully help from the resident committee of people that live close by.
Here's the other thing that bothers me about that. And it's just my thought. We have some expensive items here, in the kitchen. And how are we going to make sure those items stay here?
Well, if they're expensive and we're renting it out and you're concerned about that, then they get locked up. We've got enough locking cabinets that, I mean, obviously they're not.
I mean, are we not worried about our community right now that someone can walk in and just,
It's our community.
It's our community and their
Okay.
assessment for it.
okay.
And assessment.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that later. Go ahead with the rest of your report.
We need to figure out some better winterization in here. That is part of the problem of such high bills, is that we don't have proper coverings on it. I'm gonna look into hopefully some cost-effective ways so that we can work on it, whether it's Visqueen or bubble wrap. If anyone has a lot of bubble wrap that they wanna donate, reach
Big
out to me.
bubbles.
I will come and pick it up.
Big bubbles, please.
The big bubbles.
Little bubbles don't really work as insulation. Big bubbles, you can literally just spray the window with water, pop them on, stays up the whole winter, comes up, doesn't do anything bad, super easy, can be reused.
Yeah. And we have issues with the fuse box on both the inside and the outside.
That wall is a disaster.
That wall,
waiting to happen.
it needs someone to be, it needs to be looked at.
Okay.
I don't know what it needs. I can probably get some guidance and then we can figure out who we need to get in touch with.
My husband's a retired electrician,
Oh,
Perfect.
so my husband can take care of that. We
He's
used to have,
retired.
Well, I mean, I just need to know if it's an electrician issue or it's a carpentry issue, or I don't know what's happening here is what I,
it's scary, that's all I know.
yeah.
okay, well, I'll have.
So we just, I mean, I just need, I'll have Clint look at it too. I just need ideas so then we can figure out what our next step is of who we need to bring in
Okay,
to.
also, you're going to need to purchase a new, dehumidifier,
Okay,
because the old one broke.
okay.
So we gotta have, and it's gotta cover for the whole building.
When did that go down?
It was before you came on.
Okay.
Somebody mentioned before, there's no insulation for the ceiling.
If it's anything like, if this was built around the same time that my house was, I know the insulation's not good here. This last cold freeze, it was a make it or break it kind of deal, but it's just, it's a work in progress right here. I mean, but we have to change something. I mean, if we set it up where everyone's comfortable with it, and
Yeah.
we figure out a happy medium, but there needs to be some change, whether it's price or who we allow to rent out and.
Put all your stuff together and you'll have to,
But I'm doing a lot of
put a
research.
plan together.
That's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not doing it, I'm going in, I'm seeing who is around here. I want to make sure we're competitive, and if not, if we're a little bit less, we can capitalize on some
Well,
other.
I would still say keep it at a cheaper rate for the residents here.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
So, okay, that it for you?
Yep.
Okay, maintenance.
I see he did some work, stop sign, and fix, clean trees up, waiting for light to go down to find the sign. So is that in Spring Lake?
Yeah, the do not enter sign, when they first installed it, they just hammered a big nail into the tree and just like stuck the sign on there. They didn't bend the nail over or anything, so in our last big huge windstorm, the do not enter sign came flying off. It went out to the lake. It was a little bit deeper than my boots, so I couldn't grab it. And then, of course, we got another 5 inches of rain, so now no, it's down. It's heavy. It's a big, heavy metal sign. It's down there. I just have to wait for the lake to go down again.
Dug out a ditch. Another thing, culvert needs to be cleaned out. You talk to the property owner, there are electrical lines inside the ditch. We cannot dig in it until property owner gets it resolved. Of course, dealing with out.
Yeah, he was out for 2 weeks. So we did have 10,000 covered during the massive rain and the snow and ice. He was a big help for us. That was, I think that was for that side.
That one's been out there for a while, so I'm not
I'll
sure.
check, I'll check.
Okay, because this is the maintenance report. And so it says that a sign was ordered for Spring
Yeah.
Lake and a sign was ordered for the dam. And I don't know what those signs would be for.
Okay, I'll check on that.
Okay, that's my copy.
Oh,
Got it.
okay, and What's next? Fire department?
Okay, he did give me well, they didn't have a meeting this month, so I've been looking at it. Sheriff checked out 4 applicants for me, 2 couldn't come with convicted felons, and the other 2, I told Dylan to ask the ladies if they wanted to be on the fire department since the husband's
Sorry, so wives and felons are okay, but felons are not? Okay. How many people, I mean, aren't we like pretty like loaded with fire department volunteers? Don't we have like 26 or something like that at this point?
I believe it's 21, we have 13 certified. We need some more classes.
I was gonna say, I think you said last time there was 1 or 2 people that was missing like 1 class or something, I think.
It looks like I skipped over Lakeson.
You did, that's okay, I'll finish everything up all at one time.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so, beach report. I did meet with county extension. There's beach reports are available on the desk if anybody wants to take one with them. I met with the county extension regarding identification of the invading sedges that are along the shoreline of the beach and the best practices for proper management. That will occur probably end of March, beginning of April. The parks, I'm working on a comprehensive map of all those parks within the acres, named or not. Like I said, all those little pocket parks, all the little bits and pieces of properties. I would like to implement an adopt a spot program. I'm sure that if you drive around Cherokee Village, you've seen little parks, little corners, intersections where there's flowers or there's a little bench or something like that. And it's got a little sign and it says the spot is maintained by so-and-so. I would like to do that in the acres. And anybody that would be interested in more information about that, if you can email the office at ozark002@gmail.com with the subject of adopt a spot, I'll be happy to get you more information about it. We have kicked around the idea before about people helping us maintain the parks with mowing and general maintenance. And if you live nearby a park that you would be willing to do that with, we have discussed the possibility of providing gas for your mowers if you're going to do that for us. Because as we go into spring and summer, if our maintenance person is responsible for mowing our parks, that is all they are going to do all week, every week. That's all that's going to get done, nothing else.
Especially if we don't
Okay.
have hot temperatures and a good amount of water.
So Adopt a Spot is a program that I'm really trying to get implemented, and if you're interested, reach out. Lakes. Arkansas Game and Fish has been really helpful and yet so unhelpful. Arkansas Game and Fish, I reached out to them for a fish survey. I requested any state, county, or federal funding or programs. And basically what they came back to me and said is, because we are a SID, we qualify for absolutely nothing. We qualify for no county, no state, no federal funding whatsoever. The only way we qualify for any of that funding for our lakes is to open the lakes to the public and not charge any fees related to that. Well, that kind of, right now, I don't know how that balances out. I think, personally, opening the lakes and charging for using the lakes for outsiders is going to be guaranteed income, whereas hoping that we don't charge anyone to use our lakes from the public, but then we might qualify for a grant or funding, or we might not. Okay, but that's not guaranteed income. So the lakes are going to become public at some point. There's no question about that. If we do it sooner rather than later and do it in a financial way that we can get some revenue from those, that would be, in my opinion, the way to go. The fish survey that I was really hoping they were going to come out and shock our lake so that we could see what's actually out there. They won't do that because we're a SID. So what they recommended is that I collect 6 months of catch reports, which I have copies over on the table, and there will be copies available up at the SID office. If you are doing any fishing, I'm not saying catch and keep fishing, any fishing at all. Catch and release is helpful, catch to eat is helpful, any information from what you're catching out in the lakes. This is what was surprising to me. I've gotten feedback from some of the fishermen, and I gave that to AGFC. And their comment was, you are under-harvested. Your lake is way under-harvested. Recommended harvest guidelines for largemouth bass are 30 to 40 pounds per acre per year. That's 3,000 pounds of bass that should be taken out of that lake every year. Okay? We're not taking that kind of fish out of our lake. We're supposed to harvest every crappie that we catch in this lake. We're not doing that. I can guarantee it. Okay? And I know Jim Lowe is somewhere just totally freaking out right now. He doesn't like the idea of taking any fish out of the lake in any way. 20 to 30 pounds per acre per year of bream out of this lake. If we don't take those fish out of our lake, all we're going to have are fish. And no one's going to want them because we're not going to have any fish that are harvestable. So I would like to possibly do a fishing tournament. I have reached out to Rocks Outfitters. I have not gotten to actually go down and talk to them yet. They do a lot of guidance for local fishing tournaments. And so I'm just going to put it out there that it's an idea that I have, that I would like to do a fishing tournament, and basically the winners would be whoever catches the most fish. Okay? No limits, no sizes, no anything. All right? Because our lake right now is out of balance with our fish population.
What if you got a hold of the school and have them kind of maybe advertise it throughout the high school and all that stuff?
Do we have a bass?
Yeah,
do we have a fishing
we
thing
have,
at the school?
I think there's a high school team. I think.
I don't know if there is or not, but even if there's not something like that there, if you pass out flyers or something like that to the kids at the school,
Oh,
every
right.
one of those kids are gonna take it home to Highland, Ashland, Cherokee Village.
Right.
I mean, and that's gonna get it probably the cheapest and fastest way to get it around.
Okay. Good idea. I have talked to the county extension about 4-H and FFA, and he is actually the one who said Rocks has organized the local, and because there's some like circuit that they are affiliated with, so that anybody that's in fishing tournaments kind of goes through them.
Keep in mind, when you do that, those are called the big boys. We've got size limit on our motors here. Those big boys, are you gonna allow them to do that?
Well,
or?
we're gonna, that's coming up on the list,
Okay.
coming down a little bit further, okay? So that's an idea. So input on fishing tournament idea, input on any of that, I would appreciate it, okay? There are catch reports available on that table. There will be catch reports available at the office. If you're doing any fishing, I would really appreciate the feedback on what you're catching and releasing or catching and eating. The weed situation. The submerged weeds in our coves grow because there is stagnant water in our coves. Our problem, and I have gone back through this, our problem in our coves got to be a lot worse after we lowered the horsepower limits on our lake. When we took our horsepower limits down, our weed problem within 2 years was problematic. So everyone that has come out, and I've had natural resources, I've had county extension, Garden Fish and Game, have all given me the same feedback. Stagnant water in our coves is the biggest problem with our weeds in our coves. So there's several different options. You can try sump pumps, into recirculating pumps, into coves to keep that water running. You can literally go out and make a circuit with your boats and push water into those coves and out of those coves on a regular basis. You can physically rake the weed beds and then burn off the weeds after they've dried up. You can put in grass carp, or you can use chemical treatments. And if anybody would like to see that, that's a 208-page thing of information about proper chemical control for submerged and emergent weeds in our lake.
And we can email it to you.
Right, I can email you a link. There you go.
Yeah.
Because it's huge and it's crazy. It is all in connection with the EPA, with Game and Fish, with natural resources. So it is a safe, effective, chemical way to control weeds. It's also very expensive. So, so that's where the weed situation is. I think the oh, for criminy sake,
What we're doing.
horsepower motors. I'm not sure why we dropped down to
That's-
70. I believe Tim said it was because we didn't have the riprap on the dam high enough at the time, but that has been corrected because of the spillway changes. And so is there a reason that we can't increase the horsepower on the lake again, or not? I don't know.
Since they
There's something in the office that thinks why.
There's riprap on the dam, and also the erosion along the shoreline.
Yeah, I think
to
it was
the
about the
property owners,
erosion on the shoreline.
Because the original design, property owner was 1 foot. The shoreline, the SID owned 1 foot beyond the shoreline. And that's being eroded away in many areas where, there's areas where the property owner was actually going out into the water and the lake now.
Okay.
He said that the 1 foot barrier that Sid used to
Yeah,
own around the lake.
it's supposed to be
is
1 foot
eroding
radius
away.
around the whole lake.
So now,
But now it's not.
property owners are actually losing property due to it. So the wake of the motor, you're leaving behind the erosion for personal property or whatever.
So there could be, you know, I would like to have somebody give me an idea of, and this is county extension, and he'll be coming back out, but again, because of all of the flooding, et cetera, that we've had, everything kind of got pushed back. I would like them to come out and look at the lake and tell me what should be our limits, how many boats at a time on the lake, how many horsepower should be on that lake, all that kind of thing. If you guys have input for that, I'm way open to hearing anything from anybody, okay? But you have to talk to me about it. I don't know if I have enough time in the day to like chase all of this down all the time. So all the input would be super helpful, all right? Beaver, we have mixed reports on whether the beaver is transient or
Still
permanent.
here.
Is he still here?
Yeah, he just trashed Bryce's place now.
Really?
Okay.
Sure.
That, yeah.
You should have tried that Mason sand, Bryce, I'm telling
Well,
you.
it's on an evergreen. It was like, what? Yeah, so
Okay,
he's still
so
around.
if we have I had another resident who said that they literally had a lodge under their dock. So if we have a permanent beaver, we need to get rid of a permanent beaver. A lake is not a good location for a permanent beaver. So if you are out on the lake, if you see beavers, real ones, if you see any lodge or dam, please let us know where that is. When County Extension came out, he did not see where he could see any permanent lodging, you know, like a lodge being built. But he may not know where to look. So if you've got information about the beaver that's in Lake Vagabond,
Swimming with sticks.
swimming with sticks in
We
its
need to
mouth.
know what direction he goes.
Right, I need to know where he's going. Email it to the office with the subject beaver. Okay. February 8th, we did have a severe weather event. Flash flooding occurred. The lake valve was opened during the flood event in response to a resident complaining about rising water in their yard. That was in violation of our emergency action plan, which is extremely outdated, but it is still binding and is still on file with the state. Okay, water in your lakeside yard during a flood event is not an emergency situation. Just FYI going forward. And last but not least, Lake Vagabond and Spring Lake are man-made lakes. As such, they require maintenance, inspections, and management. If they are not maintained or their dam permits are not kept current, the state has the authority and the ability to remove the lakes. This is information coming directly from the Arkansas Natural Resources Commission and Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. If